I've got to find out how to make Shirley a co-host because she's gonna she's been roped into make co-host there. Yeah. Um, okay, so welcome. I've got no idea who's going to show up because it's very short notice. Um, Carrie popped up. What do you want to be called on here? Carrie,
Call
Caroline?
me call me Caroline. So Carrie is my professional writer's name, and on my Instagram, but Caroline is my actual given name. So, but
Okay.
hello, yeah.
So Caroline popped up mentioning the medical healing machines, and I don't know anything about them, but I know some really smart cookies that really swear by them. But it's just that I don't know about. I've not really looked into it. I know years ago I had a session on one, and I had to alter something, and I didn't find it all that accurate. They gave me this printout, and they're going, "That bit's great. You're healthy," and I'm going, "It really ain't," you know. But I think they've developed a lot, and that woman probably didn't have a very good machine. So but I don't know much about it, so I'd rather leave it to you guys. And one of the things I like about FLP is there's so much expertise within the people, and they got stuff that I've got no idea of, or expertise in areas that I most definitely haven't. So, um, but I wanted to start doing a weekly thing. We'll start with this, the machine. So, Carrie, can you tell us a little bit about what you want or what you want to gain from this or what we need to be looking for? Shirley's going to be conducting it, so this will be mainly you two. So I'm just introducing Caroline was asked the question. Shirley's going to kind of be roped into leading this. So Caroline.
Hi. Well, first of all, thank you everyone for joining this, and I'm really excited about it. So, um, I have I'm really interested in frequency and stuff, and I want to show you. I've got this machine, which is it's a quantum machine owned by this guy, and I actually met this guy in the States. And this guy, this one works off Rife frequencies, and it basically, it's like got hundreds and thousands of combinations of frequencies that you can use. So, and I've had this for a couple of years. So I've been kind of, you know, I've been getting all this knowledge about it over the years, and I'm just really interested. I really feel it's the future. Anne says,
Oh, Steve's got one. Steve's got one.
"Oh, you got a bigger one than me." um,
There we go.
um,
What's the chances of that? Yeah,
Anne
crazy.
says that in the future we're going to be disease free. There's going to be none of the problems that we have. And I'm interested in the journey. How do we get from here to there? And for me, the simple, the obvious thing is frequencies. It's something that people, I've been doing a lot of research recently, and there seems to be so many naysayers of, the biosphere doesn't exist. What quantum is a load of rubbish, all of this. And I think there's such a massive shift that has to happen in perception for people to accept it. So I think that's half the battle. I think technology, a lot of the technology is out there already. I'm very interested in the idea of the sacred geometry and the bending of the light and the different lengths of the light frequencies and all of that and sound healing. So I'm coming at it from, I just want to know as much as possible. I think it's going to be a fantastic and fascinating exercise to do this and to see what comes up. So I'm here for it.
Brilliant. Well, it's very interesting. I said earlier this is timely, and a lot of you know, a year ago, my old publisher, I'm not even with them anymore, popped up and wanted to re-release my book Cosmic Energy under a different name. And I wrote that, I think, is it 2008? I think I wrote that. I'll have to look it up. And what it was, the publisher said to me, right, we want standalone books. I just wanted to write about the future. And they said, we just want three standalone books from you. And this is the third. So I started to focus, and the only word that kept coming up over and over was energy. So I knew it had to be about energy. So what I did was I started to mind travel into the future to see what we know about energy in the future that we need to know now. And a lot, that's how I wrote Cosmic Energy. And it just everything about the future was all about understanding energy and using energy. So what you're saying makes a lot of sense. And I think you're right. I think we're just at the beginning of understanding energy. And it's amazing that technology has advanced so quickly. So combining and using technology for energy. It very much what I was seeing in the future, but didn't understand, because in 50 years' time, 100 years' time, it's way beyond our comprehension. So fascinating stuff. Shirley's got your list of things you were asking. I'm going to hand over to Shirley and leave you guys to it and see what happens.
Hi, everybody. So, welcome. Some people I know, some people I don't know, and those I do know, lovely to see you again. Those I don't know, welcome and nice to meet you. I hope that you gain as much from this session as we all can do. I think it's important to just come at it with an open mind, allowing ourselves to just leave everything else before, everything else that's been said, any interpretations or anything that we're using currently, just park that for a moment and allowing ourselves just to go through this session and see what we come out the other side of it. My aim is really to try and use 2 timelines in here. It will be a mix of some of the questions that Caroline has posed, and also a mix of a few other things that had came to me this morning before we started the session. So just intuiting what else I felt was important to be asking at this particular point in time. I think the best way to do this is we'll go through this, we'll do both sessions, and then at the end of the session, the opportunity for everybody to have that chance to share a little bit, and then we can see where the similarities are. Anne, have we got a restriction on time here at all? Or
I've left it. I put down for 90 minutes, so we should be all right. And it usually lets you
that's
go
fine.
good
Yeah,
half
no, we'll
hour
be
over.
fine. We'll be fine. Yeah, we'll be fine. So I think let's go with the flow. Let's see what happens. Enjoy the process, enjoy the journey, and just make yourselves comfortable. If people feel that they want to sit down, lie down, put their camera off, any of those things, you are more than welcome to do so. It's about starting off feeling comfortable in the process to start with. I'm going to move my little one over a bit so I can get a little bit more comfortable with the process too. So just bringing yourself into the space of presence, the here and now. If you just need to remind yourself you're here, bringing your hands together, just rubbing your hands together and feeling into the energy, embracing that energy that it brings to you, allowing yourself to just close your eyes and just soften your gaze if you feel you're not comfortable to close your eyes. Taking a breath. And just slowly exhaling with each breath, allowing yourself to become more relaxed, more ease, and more present in this moment. As you continue to breathe slowly and deeply, just feel any tension in your body begin to melt away, allowing yourself to feel supported by the surface underneath you, whether you're sitting on a chair, lying on a rug or a mat. Just know you're safe, relaxed, and you're open to the experience that lies ahead. So with each breath, feel your body becoming lighter, as if you're floating gently on a calm sea. The gentle waves of relaxation carrying you further and further into a state of deep peace. Imagine a warm, soothing light surrounding you, beginning at the top of your head and slowly moving down the body. As this light travels, it relaxes every muscle, every nerve, every cell. It moves down into your shoulders, releasing any tension there, down your arms, down your chest, down your back, down your legs, and all the way to the toes, and feeling it move back up again to the head. Feeling completely relaxed, deeply at peace, and open to the visions and experience that will come to you today. In this space, in this time, Sunday, 25th of August, 2024, 11:15. Imagine a beautiful glowing door appearing before you. This door is a gateway to the future, where you can explore the advancement of medical devices. Notice the details. Perhaps it's made of shimmering light or a material that feels futuristic or advanced. When you're feeling ready, take a breath and allow yourself to step through the door. Feel yourself moving forward in time, 5 years into the future. So we're looking at August 2029. Just being aware of your surroundings. You're inside, you're outside, the light, the space. Just being conscious of yourself to start with, what you're wearing. Are you barefoot? Is there something on your feet? The environment that you're in and who may be around you and surrounding you. And we keep the essence in here to do with medical advices, well-being devices. We think of the future, we think of energy, we think of ourselves as energy, and we understand what we can from this. We allow ourselves to see what is necessary to see. And even if you feel you can't fully explain or comprehend it, just allow yourself to absorb that energy, that the correct words, language will come as you see it. How does the world feel right now? Notice how these devices have evolved. Notice how medicine has evolved. Notice how people have evolved. How do people use these technologies? So letting yourself observe, connect, feel, whatever tool that you use that supports you to engage with this. Recognizing what new technologies or innovations have emerged, and are there any specific devices that stand out to you? Just take a little moment of silence as you allow yourself to observe a little more of what's out there as we look across the globe. And we look at specifically our own countries as well and see what's available for us in our own environments. Observing how these devices are impacting healthcare. Are there new ways to monitor health, diagnose conditions, or treat illnesses? Just paying attention to any of the detail that comes to mind in this space. And allowing yourself to see how these advancements might impact you, your loved ones, society as a whole. How do these changes make you feel? And again, just allowing yourself to absorb all that this future has to offer. So taking all this knowledge, information, insights, feelings, guidance, and allowing ourselves to see a second door at the end of this space, allowing ourselves to appreciate everything that we've been given, and now an opportunity to step into another time zone, letting us recognize and allowing us to deepen that knowledge and information and guidance to see what else we can really do to support ourselves and to support humanity. So as you stand in front of this golden door, this time stepping into 2040, so 16 years from now, just opening the door as it slides, taking a breath, again taking in your surroundings, noticing that the world has changed, how it feels, what innovations are now present. Focusing again on looking at medical and well-being support, advice, tools, guidance. How is this helping us? How things have evolved over the last 15 years. Again, what stands out? Are there some forms of technology that we've just never imagined? How were these devices integrated into our daily lives, maybe into our healthcare system, into our well-being? Again, observing the impact of these devices on people's health and lives, looking at our loved ones, looking at ourselves. See if there's any specific experiences, interactions that catch your attention. And just letting you feel what it is that's about the future. Note any emotions, any thoughts, any added visions that come to mind. And as we look from this space and place, we want to explore some of the technology that actually was relevant 15 years ago. So we look at 2024 and we look at some of the technology that scans the body's aura or maybe gives healing frequencies. Are these here to stay? How were they changing? When we look at the future of healthcare and personal care, how specific has that become? Are we integrating more energy-based modalities? Does PMF resonate? Does bioresonance resonate? Does sound healing resonate? Does crystal healing resonate? Does color therapy resonate? And as we look at some of these modalities and equipment, just recognizing what seems to be the most powerful, the most effective, the most efficient, the one that works the best, the one that is really supportive, and why? Why is it so supportive? Why is it different? And as we begin to understand so much more about energy and see ourselves as energy beings, how do we support ourselves better with raising our frequencies, raising our vibration? Are we daily connecting or daily using a tool? Are we using the 9 resonances to support us in different ways? Is there any other simple tools or gadgets that we can use in order to do so? And even looking at the simplicity of breath work, the breath work being present, recognizing all that is, all that you are, and you are all of it. As we look at quantum biology and how it expands, as we understand more about the expansion of energy and what that means. What becomes more mainstream? And how are we teaching others the simplicity of this and helping them recognize it's not woo-woo, helping them understand how this really supports them? As we are more and more connected and allowing ourselves to understand that connection energetically with each other, will we see more healing work on a remote basis? Will we still see in person? When we look at therapies with equipment, where do we see those? What will that look like? Can we see this in our hospitals? Can we see this in our GP practices or doctor's surgeries? And allowing yourself to feel into humanity. And just that sense and feeling of how we look at disease. Does disease still exist? And if so, why? And if it's there, how can we help and support? What will those hospitals of the future look like? How will we be supporting each other in that space and place with new advancements and awareness? And again, as we look at society and humanity, allowing ourselves to understand the importance of group work and the opportunity for mass healing. Can we see how this evolves? How might this work? How can we advance more well-being as well as health? As we think about mental health and the added support that is needed in that vein. And if we look at some specific equipment where we look at bioresonance machines, we look at the Healy as an example, or we look at larger field frequency machines. What do they now look like? What do they feel like? As we recognize the shift with frequency and energy, again, how this might integrate with our lifestyles, the food that we eat, the different engagements or exercise. Are we starting to see that everything will be linked to frequency and energy? Will we allow ourselves to be more guided by our intuition, acknowledging what tools are more supportive to the ailments that we may suffer at any particular time, and using these technologies to step through the other side of that pain or anxiety or stress or ailment? And as we look at the power in this space and place of energy and supportive technologies, what does the role of pharmaceuticals play in this future space of 2040? Do they still sit aside? Has that dissipated? Will they start to shift towards more integrative approaches? And in this vein, will we start to see much more personalized treatments, being more specific to the individual, a wider understanding of who and what we are? So again, when we go back and we look at those new healing technologies, what does their design look like? What does their functionality look like? They might draw from some natural principles. They might have sacred geometry. They may have alignment, identifying more information on added energy sources within the body, not just the chakras. So just allowing yourself to connect with anything else specific that it's showing for you. And just take a moment to identify anything else that's allowing itself to present. And in that space and place, just allowing ourselves to connect with some of what we perceive as the ancient practices. like those, for example, of the Egyptians, influencing modern wellness technologies, where they used sound and light, where they focused on holistic and integrative approaches, and they honored the interconnectedness of the mind, the body, and the spirit. And just allowing aspects of that wisdom to seep in that space, and see how that additionally might influence 2040, our lives there, what that looks like, what it feels like. I'm just giving you a few moments of silence to integrate anything that you feel really resonates for you, to give you the opportunity to bring that back to where it needs to go, to share what you feel is appropriate to share. Just thanking this space and environment for all that it's presented and all that's shown, for the energy of 2040 and how it's shared with you what we here need to see today to give us some added guidance and insight. And then just allowing yourself to walk back to the door, giving thanks and grace, giving thanks to yourself for allowing yourself to deepen into this space. And now just allowing yourself to gently return to the present. Slowly begin to withdraw your focus from the future, knowing that you can return to this space at any particular time you wish in the future. Stepping back through the doorway, leaving the future behind, returning to this moment here and now. Sunday, 25th of August, 2024, 11:38. And as you move back through the doorway, allowing yourself to feel you're becoming more aware of your body, more grounded again in your presence. Just take a deep breath, slowly exhale, gently wiggle your fingers and toes, bring a little bit of movement back into the body, and when you're ready, just open your eyes, feeling refreshed, relaxed, and filled with a sense of clarity about the potential future. Welcome back, everybody.
Wow, that was amazing. Thank you so much. That was great. That was really good.
Okay,
Caroline.
so
Yeah, I'll leave you to it, Shirley. Yeah, I'll leave you to it.
I'm just going to go with who I feel is the first person that I need to pull in to ask them to share a little bit. So, Steve, would you like to share a little bit what came up for you?
Well, firstly, I was focusing on stuff that I already know about now, which is or the stuff that I use already. And I think the scalar technologies are the ones that I am finding to be most useful, the simplest and the easiest. And then as we went on, I'm not quite sure if I noticed anything that I wasn't already aware of, but there were just things that were going to be used more of, like the med beds. I suppose if is anybody not familiar with a med bed? Okay, med beds. The easiest way to explain it is if you've seen Star Trek, you go into the medical unit and you just lay on the bed and it scans you from top to toe, tells you what's wrong, and then it puts in some magical stuff, and all of a sudden your body starts to heal whatever's wrong. Well, that's the med beds are extraordinarily expensive at the moment. So you've got to be like billionaire status to get those sorts of things, so I'm told. But those are going to be quite common. But the problem for me was when I was seeing it, there wasn't as many people around. And I kept on thinking, where is everybody? You know, if this is helping everybody and healing everybody, where is everybody? And I think it's, for me, we seem to have gone through something where there aren't so many people around, and it's only then that this stuff is becoming more available to people. So I've got an experience going through there then that not that I know why the people disappeared, but there's a lot of people on this planet at the moment that, or maybe I was just in an area where there wasn't many people. So it didn't actually, I didn't see anything specifically that told me why there weren't any people there, but I just got this hunch, I suppose, that there's not a lot of people around at the moment in that, you know, where we were.
Okay, thank you for sharing, Jojo. Your head's nodding, shaking, whatever. And I could see you doing a lot of energy work in the space as well at the same time. Would you like to share?
I would, but you might also want a follow-up session because I could go on for hours and hours and hours of what I was doing. So I'm really, really cool. So I got some highlights. But to Steve's point, there is an off-planet event happening very soon. Very soon, very, very soon. So I think you're spot on when you see less people, and they're a mixture of those who, there's from the jibby jabby injuries, but also people who've been contracted. Not when they came, the contract agreement was they don't want to go through the next healing phase, because when the truth comes out about everything, we're going to have there's going to be a mass dark night of the soul, and these healing centers that are going to be set up will be there for those people to attend. So if we think about, we'll all need healing, even the healers will need healing, but we've got the kind of 90% that are going to be shown what's really been going on, that there's hardly anybody that really knows, but it's only just a few percent scale on this planet. So it's all going to be about, the pharmaceutical in 40 will have collapsed. There'll be an element who still want to live a kind of 3D life because they don't want to accept it. But this is, the new cosmic intelligence and the new levels of light that is collapsing the dark system, which means that we haven't been able to access the technology that is the advanced healing technology that is available, because it's been blocked, and this planet is controlled by a dark, let's call it a dark net that restricts the frequencies that come into the planet. So that's all controlled by them, and so with the new light that's coming in and the crumbling, the new portals will be opened, and there'll be things like the Atlantean technology, the advanced technology will be accessible. People can obviously now heal themselves, but there's going to be such a healing wave that you're going to have these centers where there'll be different types for like how people are handling. So fundamentally, I was shown a white room with a sacred geometry in the middle, and people just sitting around, because we don't really need the technology per se at the group healing, but it's kind of a show and tell, because the people who don't understand any of this yet need to see some stuff, because they mentally won't be able to believe it if they don't see anything. So then you've got the analysis technology, which is becoming more advanced, and that is when, because we've got all these healers that are being trained up globally, and this is for when the dark side collapses and people are shown the extent of the truth. So they'll go into these centers, which is all about frequencies, colors. We'll have monoliths here that are emitting all sorts of great stuff, and then the people will find their individual healers, because they'll need healing work. So it's not really about disease in the future per se, is about healing from our experience, the experiences we've been through, and healing the ancestral lines. And obviously that targets into the DNA structure, which is becoming more alive, and the crystals are becoming more alive. But it will be the frequencies. I don't know how far advanced this is, but they'll literally be like living beings that we'll tap into, and they'll provide healing. In summary, I've got lots more if you want to follow up.
That's okay. Thank you so much. Caroline?
Hi, thank you as well for running the session. It was fantastic. So I agree with what both of you have said. I saw the first room was very clinical. I was like a doctor, white coat. I saw metal beds, definitely like the med bed sort of situation. Again, it wasn't very full. I got the sense of emptiness, and I got the sense of it's very clinical, and it was like early days of this seemed to be missing the mark a bit somehow. But I got the sense that out of that environment, people were embracing wearables. I got the sense that the money that in the future, when far in the future, hospitals really only existed for emergency, for pregnancies, that kind of thing, the absolute bare essentials. And the money that was going into pharma was now going into technologies, because they will see how lucrative that is. And to make it more accessible to people, all this technology is going to be tested on astronauts, and it's going to be embodied in the military and space and all of that. And then when people see how the progress that makes for people like that, so it's going to be like you can see it on a high level, the impact this stuff has. So then people will start to become more comfortable with it. That's the impression I got. I also felt, so the going forward in time, just the little hop, that was very clinical, silver, that kind of feel. And then when we went more into the future, everything went very dark. And I was thinking, well, this is strange, going from something so light to something so dark. And what it felt to me was an absence of light, so that the wearables, I got this image of, like, those old-fashioned hair dryers at the hair salons that just go over your head, but it was all matte. It was like black, and then inside were lights, and you put it over your head, and there's kind of like an absence of light that allows the frequencies to do their thing without the dark, so the darkness was helping. And I got a sense that there'll be something that we wear around our temples, like almost like a donut thing that we would wear, and it would work not off Bluetooth or anything like that. It would be some sort of generated from us technology, and it would be like I don't know how often we would use it regularly, but like a reset type situation. But as well as that, there would be a wearable that we would wear pretty much most of the time just to keep our frequency in the right place. This thing also, you could put crystals in it, and you could choose the crystals that would help with whatever you needed. So it was kind of bespoke. And then the other thing I saw was that when we're talking about the ancient technology, and I saw the pyramid, and again, like the sacred geometry thing, I saw like this bright purple light inside the pyramid, and that people were inside the pyramid. And so, but again, outside of it was dark. I kept seeing this juxtaposition of dark versus light. So that's how I feel like the technology is going to go. And definitely bioresonance. I felt the scanning and all of that. I felt that had validity. I feel it's very much in its infancy, and it's just going to get much more sophisticated, and that people will embrace it. One way or another, it will be commonplace.
Wow.
Thank you, Caroline. Fantastic. Anne.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about this stuff, so this is just how it comes to me. Very much the thing you said, put over your head. I really saw something like that, and I don't know about med beds. Now that you've mentioned it, I have seen it on sci-fi films, but I didn't know what it was. I saw that very much being something like that being used with elderly. And it's not so much, it's like a rejuvenation, but a lot of, elderly problems is heavy metals, inflammation, that type of thing. And I saw probably what is a med bed, they're laying in something or on something, and it's almost cleansing them. But I saw the hat thing or whatever it is come down, and it was like sending waves through. And I really felt these med beds or whatever they are, there's some sort of technology that really cleanses the body. It's cleansing of cancer, it's cleansing of inflammation. I also saw a version for radiation, and I felt that was being used in a part of the world. I'm not sure where. I think it was Far East, but I could be wrong, but it felt a long way from UK. But I really felt a version. I've actually got some numbers. It was K-169C and K-169T. And it's a machine, and they're different versions. There's two different versions where they do slightly different jobs. So yeah, I'm picking up on them numbers. Got no idea. I'll probably look it up, and it's a photocopy or some bloody thing if I Google it. But never know. But that's what came to me. Bioresonance, and as I say, I don't know much about it, but I really felt that had really got so much, exactly the same as you. As if it's in its infancy now, gets much sharper. What else have I got? I also saw something like probes that use on energy points, and I felt they particularly healed people very, very quickly. A bit like acupuncture, I suppose, only much more effective because it was putting energy through. It's interesting because I've written it in books about how there's a point in the future where I don't see a lot of people, and I don't know why. It's as if there's nowhere. I don't know why. And a lot of things you were saying, Caroline, that things I've put about in books, pyramids. I've really become obsessed with pyramids once I started looking 100, 200 years into the future. And also felt medicine today would be less favored in the future, far more just the side effects, just about how you pay a price when you take these things. So you might have terrible arthritis pain or diabetes or something, and you have to take the medication to survive. But the side effects, as the machines become better and more effective and more widely used, who's going to want something that's going to give them horrible side effects? So it's almost if they come out of favor. So I see medicine just kind of being less used. It'll only be used for when you haven't got something better for it, something different for it. So yeah, that's mainly what I picked up.
So I have just decided to go and to get my little Chat GPT to figure out what K-169C and K169T stands for, dearest Anne. And it says, references are related to genetic research in the field of immunology, with significant implications for understanding and potentially treating autoimmune disease. Wow.
Wow.
Thinking it was a photocopier. There you go. Wow.
Wow. So it basically refers to genetic polymorphisms, and then how they refer. There's a whole little piece on it I can send you afterwards. But it's really, again, understanding the susceptibility of individuals to different diseases. So this goes with the thought process in there. I try not to influence when I'm doing these things, but part of what I see in the future is we will definitely have much more personalized support, because there'll be a different recognition of who we are, and therefore there's so much more can be done for ourselves individually in different ways. So thank you. Anne Winslow.
I have
Hello,
some
lady.
I have some couple of things. First of all, I went to Bosnia this summer and visited the 7 pyramids there and had a long lecture around water. And I started to use water from there, and also how to homogenize water. And my skin is already getting much, much better, and my body is getting better. So already there are things we can do. And the energies from the pyramids and going into the tunnels was also fantastic already. So I mean, why don't you start using all the things that are there? But going back to the meditation, for the first 5 years or something, I saw some rods that you could touch your body. They were kind of frequencies, and they could heal. And then in 2040, I saw something like, I don't know, it maybe has something to do like the med beds or something, but it was standing up, and you had them like just as often as you had telephone boxes in the old days, the red ones around there, where you just could walk into, you could scan your body, and then there could be frequencies where the body was out of alignment. So these areas, this box could send frequencies and fix kind of your body. So that's what I saw. And there were people around, but it was like everybody was going on their own daily routines and so on. And if they felt something, they went into this box, and then they came out again after a little while.
Lovely. Thank you, Tonya. Really appreciate it.
Brilliant.
Anne.
Hi. Thank you anyway for organising this between you as well. It's been absolutely fabulous. In the 5 years in the future, I saw something where every morning and evening you went in, you did some energy frequency work, which just kept bringing your body back into like perfect vibrational of, blueprint of perfection. And that, like, you went about your day and then you tune back in again, you went to bed and then you set yourself up. I also saw like, it was like a grief pod. It was like a pod that you went in that was just love and light. And people went in there to heal grief. And it was just like being held, like hugged and loved. And in that space, they could just cry and cry. And it was just a way of releasing grief, because we do need to go through it. But, it doesn't always get released. And it was just, you were just held in this beautiful love and light. And it was just to go and release all your grief. And then you could come out, held in the love. I did sense in 16 years' time there was still a lot of people that were resistant to the new technology, because you get your 20-year-olds, they're only 36, they're all hooked into the addictive stuff, the way of life now, the eating unhealthy, drinking. So I sensed that there was a lot of people that had moved forward in the realization of, our own power with our health. holistic healing was so much more powerful, like healers had so much more power, and also that the machines and our energy of healing were sort of combined as well. And then I did get a sense of, like, strangely, like a golden light that went through. I sort of saw myself and my husband with this golden energy that just went through us all the time. So it's like we've sort of evolved to have some golden energy, because when you first said 16 years, I did go into a little wobble because my husband's quite a bit older than me. So I'm thinking, oh gosh, you know, but then I saw us both with this golden energy that flows through us. And because of the technology that has gone on to the years up to 16 years, that, you know, we've been held in this, being able to keep our energies, keep going back into sort of tuning our energy back into vibrant health. But I felt like there was those that fully embraced it, and then there was others that were still going down the disease path and that, because they were resistant and still wanted to live the lifestyle that, you know, they'd got hooked into, sort of thing. But overall, the availability and the power of our own healing and healers, you know, the work we do, and all the different, the sound therapy, the crystal, you know, all of those, colour therapy, were all really powerful. But technology was as well, the sort of thing, working beautifully together to keep us in like a beautiful, healthy state.
Thank you, really appreciated. Yvette.
Hi, thanks everybody. It's been amazing. Right. Lots of common themes as well. So the first jump was a little bit more clinical. It was handhelds, devices scanning the body. It was a little bit more basic. There was some other stuff as well, but the biggest shifts were obviously on the second jump. Also got, especially like the hospital-like kind of places just being empty. Very few people needing that sort of extreme emergency kind of care. So a lot of work with magnetic fields, and it was almost like where the intersection of multiple magnetic fields, especially like two major ones, that was sort of where the healing and the magic happened. And it was amplified by crystals, and there was some of this geometry and this pyramid-like, almost like rainbows, and yeah, but a lot with magnetic fields. Tesla came up, Pleiadian came up, a lot of that kind of stuff. There were also like a merger between, imagine a healing yoga studio. So it was a place where you exercise, but at the same time, there were these frequencies and lights and sounds and things happening in that space, which was absolutely, yeah, lovely and rejuvenating, a nice combination of those two. Also saw public places with monoliths, almost like big statues. And it was like these were sending out healing frequencies, and there were multiple people's sitting, lying around these and sort of healing in sort of public places. Anti-aging came up a lot, definitely massive life extensions happening. That, yeah, and a lot less illness, a lot more self-healing. And the big thing was it was all about the consciousness. It was like our minds were controlling the healing process even more than the technology, and it was controlled by consciousness. And that's why you got this massive divide between the people who embrace it and were healthy and living longer, and those that didn't. And that's where big pharma still played into that bottom area. Whereas once you've reached a certain level of consciousness and were more open to these things, yeah, you were just in a much healthier state. But yeah, lots of things coming through, absolutely amazing. Yeah, and it's interesting, certain themes sort of coming through for all of us.
It's lovely to see the various different synergies from that space and perspective. Ray, would you like to share?
Can you hear me? Because I'm not sure if my thing's working.
Yep, we can hear you. You're fine.
Yeah, unfortunately, my signal's really bad around where I am today, so we didn't really get too deep into it. The first thing in 5 years was literally I was at my retreat, and I had a little area with loads of crystals that people went into heal from, but then my signal just kept cutting out, so I didn't really get anything more after that. So I had to listen to the replay.
Okay, no problem. Thank you for contributing, though. Helen? Helen, are you with us? Would you like to share anything?
Slightly croaky voiced.
Oh, okay.
You know each other, by the way.
Yeah,
yes, I know. She sent me a message, so I realised who this was then.
Hi, Helen.
So thank you so much for the invitation to join. I'm a bioresonance practitioner, so I've had my nose to the ground. We've been training people, and interestingly, on Friday we had another training doing more quantum bioresonance, and I genuinely believe it's the way of the future. Interesting though, when on the first door, I saw the very sterile stainless steel and glass look, which is what people seem to portray when they look at bioresonance. And my body didn't like it, and I know that myself already, but it really didn't. And then when I went through the next golden door, I saw fewer people, which was an interesting comment I picked up from others of you there. And I sort of felt that those of us that are familiar with sound healing energy are going to go through and are going to just embed it in our lives as normal, and we don't have to try and persuade anybody else. That's the sort of vibe I got for the 2040 and onwards. And it was all, for me anyway, it all came about with wood, not metal. With wood, shungite came in my vision quite a lot. And then natural nature colors, and the whole thought of people really going back to what are we here for and why are we here, and what are the energies around us. So a sort of return to natural fibers, but frequencies being here. We don't have to explore them too much. We already innately know they're here. It's just using them for what they're supposed to be used for.
Thank you, Helen. Much appreciated. Marilyn, I think you've just literally just joined us. Is that right? Oh, she's left and she's came and gone. So I think I've got everybody has actually spoken. Yes. Okay. I've been busy scribbling notes. And I think what I want to say is, firstly, thank you for everybody who has come along, who's joined us, who's shared, who participated in the whole process. And really what we can see across the board here is lots of different people with similar experiences. So I think that in itself is actually quite interesting. I think the opportunity there is that there's no question about it. And it was interesting for me beforehand because we were so focused on looking at the future, what kept coming to me this morning was we needed to go back and look at a little bit of the Egyptians, and for whatever reason that came in. So I thought, actually, do you know what? That's really interesting, and interesting that several of you actually picked up on different aspects of that and how you're already using it, and how if you're not already using it, how you will be using it in the future, and what again that looks like. When Anne put this out, just for clarity, where Anne put this out, I'm just like, oh, actually, this is really interesting because I'm building a new business, which is well-being tech, which combines a couple of modalities together. And really, a piece of kit and a modality, I guess is the word I would say. And really, it is, as many of you have talked about, understanding more about the magnetic fields, being able to lie down and just get that healing on a daily basis, how we can support ourselves in so many other ways that we don't realize that we have the ability to do relatively simply, and bringing some of the really ancient technology with part of the sound healing into that process. So I'm trying not to put it into the medical field as such so that we can get it out there as quickly as possible. And interestingly, again, my viewpoint is I want it in hospitals and GP practices or clinics for free. So it's about supporting humanity. It's about well-being. So this for me was really quite fascinating to see. And again, I really loved Helen's bits there at the end when it's talking about, you know, it's all there. We all get to use it. We just need to decide when we're using it, and we need to acknowledge that we should be using it. And actually, we need to get out of the mind more, and really let ourselves connect with that from our own energy source and see what that is. So I think this was a lovely way to look at seeing what else is going on. I can see Marilyn. I think maybe she just got the timing wrong on this. So thank you for joining us, Nadia. And she says she started using the magnetic field about 20 years ago, and she's been using frequency generators this year with some seemingly miraculous results. There's no question in my mind that there's so much more that we can be doing. And I can't remember who said it, but you know, there's always going to be other sources or avenues that in some way are trying to stop or block or whatever. But I'm just going to simply say, try not to get caught up in that and really focus on what else you're here to do and how we can all work together in different ways to make sure that we are supporting each other and supporting humanity in a different way. So well done, everybody. I think this was awesome. Anne, over to you.
That was amazing. Thank you so much for leading that. Marilyn, I think I need to do a separate one with you. And I want to know what you're doing for your anti-aging, Marilyn, because you're just knocking years off yourself. But I think I should do a separate one with you because you're doing a whole bunch of research there that I think could be really useful. So let's have a chat and see if we can set up. Because what I was saying earlier is I want to do something once a week that I put on YouTube where we're looking into the future, various things, because the change is happening so fast. This has been amazing today. Really good. I'm really drawn to the bioresonance, whereas I've always been, as I say, I had a couple of goes on a funny machine many years ago and it didn't really tell me very much. It's a bit like the aura machine when the guy said to me, "You're always angry," and I went, I'm never angry. And he had no colors left except for red, so I was just bright red on his machine. I mean, you know what I mean. So, but I think it's all advanced so much in the last 20 years. I think I need to, but I'm definitely drawn to bioresonance. So, oh yeah, so party to 5 a.m. Is that the carnival?
No, my friend had a nightclub night last night, so I was there dancing for about 6 hours non-stop. So when you say I look fresh, I'm like, really?
Helen, I'll take you up on that, Helen. Let's talk because you're doing a whole bunch of research, and I'd love to hear more about that. But Shirley, that was amazing. Caroline, thank you so much for posing the question, and Shirley, thank you so much for running this. It's been fascinating. And what I'll do is this will go on YouTube on the Future Vision channel, but also I've got a girl that will take bits of it and put it in places. So let's see if we can get some information out there, and let's keep moving this forward. We'll do more of this, I think.
Yeah. Thank you.
Definitely fun.
Shirley, and thank you, Anne. It's been, beyond my expectations.
Yeah,
we did. There was one thing that popped into my head actually that I forgot to say was that I saw some kind of glasses that we would wear that would allow us to see things that we can't see currently. So we were able to accept some of these frequencies better because we were able to see them. We wouldn't wear them all the time. It would just be so that we could see it. Forgot to say that.
Brilliant. There's so much really interesting. Steve had to run off, but he sent a message saying he really enjoyed this. We will do this again. Marilyn, you and me will chat. Thank you all. Let me start recording.